In a bustling town, where dreams often felt out of reach, there lived a man named Robert. He was an ordinary guy with an extraordinary ambition: to become a successful entrepreneur. Growing up, Robert admired the local business owners who transformed their ideas into thriving ventures. He often daydreamed about launching his own startup, yet the reality of his life seemed to tether him down. Robert worked as a clerk in a small grocery store, making just enough to pay his bills. He lived in a modest apartment, and his nights were filled with exhaustion from the long hours. Yet, in his heart, he carried an insatiable hunger for something greater. Every evening, after his shifts, Robert would pore over business books and online courses, filling his mind with knowledge and inspiration. He often scribbled down ideas for potential businesses in a worn-out notebook. One night, as he sat at his tiny kitchen table, a thought struck him. What if I start a delivery service for local farms? Fresh produce, straight from the source to people's homes. He knew this could benefit farmers struggling to sell their goods and families wanting fresh food without the hassle of going to the store. With excitement bubbling inside him, he began crafting a plan. But doubt quickly crept in. "You don't have enough money," a voice in his head whispered. "What if it fails?" Robert shook off the negativity. He remembered a quote he'd read: "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." Determined to turn his idea into reality, he decided to take small steps. Robert started by reaching out to local farmers. He spent weekends visiting their farms, explaining his vision and building relationships. Many were skeptical at first, but his passion and sincerity gradually won them over. He proposed a trial run where he would deliver their produce to customers willing to give a shot. With little more than a handshake and an agreement, he secured his first few suppliers. Next, he needed a way to connect with potential customers. Using social media, Robert created a simple website and started promoting his service. He posted photos of fresh vegetables, shared farmer stories, and even offered discounts to the first few customers. Slowly but surely, the orders began trickling in. However, the road was far from smooth. The first month was grueling. Robert juggled his full-time job with managing deliveries, often working late into the night. He faced challenges like miscommunications with farmers, late deliveries, and even a flat tire that left him stranded on a rural road. There were moments he thought about giving up, especially when fatigue set in and his savings dwindled. One evening, feeling particularly defeated, Robert sat on the steps of his apartment building. He looked up at the stars, searching for answers. "Why am I doing this?" he wondered aloud. And then, he remembered the smiles on his customers' faces when they received their fresh produce, the gratitude from farmers who found a new market for their goods. In that moment, he realized that his venture was about more than profit. It was about connection, community, and making a difference. Reinvigorated, Robert returned to his work with renewed passion. He began reaching out to local food blogs and influencers to spread the word. He hosted tasting events, allowing people to sample the produce. The community slowly started to rally around him. More customers signed up, and farmers were delighted by the increase in sales. But as business began to flourish, new challenges arose. Robert had to think about scaling his operation. He needed more help, and with that came the fear of hiring the wrong people. After much deliberation, he decided to take a leap of faith and hired 2 part-time employees. He provided them with training, instilling in them the same passion he had for fresh, local produce. With a small team in place, Robert felt the weight of the world lift off his shoulders. They shared responsibilities, and he found joy in collaborating with others who believed in his vision. The business thrived, and Robert's delivery service became a staple in the community. However, with success came the pressure to maintain it. One fateful week, a severe storm hit the area, causing flooding that disrupted deliveries and damaged crops. Robert found himself in a dilemma. How could he support his farmers and ensure customer satisfaction simultaneously? Instead of panicking, he gathered his team and devised a plan. They reached out to customers, explaining the situation and offering alternatives. Robert organized a community fundraiser to help affected farmers, pledging a portion of the profits to aid them in recovery. The community responded overwhelmingly, showing up to support the farmers and Robert's business. This experience deepened the bond between him and his customers, transforming the business into a community-driven initiative. As the years passed, Robert's delivery service grew into a successful company. He expanded his offerings to include artisanal products, creating partnerships with local bakers and cheesemakers. But despite the success, Robert never lost sight of his roots. He often returned to the grocery store where he had once worked, sharing his story with others who dreamt of entrepreneurship. In one of those visits, he met a young woman named Clara. She approached him shyly, eyes full of admiration. "I want to start a bakery, but I don't know where to begin," she confessed. Robert smiled warmly and said, "Start with a small step. Believe in yourself and your craft. Don't let fear hold you back." Clara's eyes sparkled with hope as she listened. In that moment, Robert understood the true purpose of his journey, to inspire others to pursue their dreams, just as he had done. He started mentoring young entrepreneurs in his community, sharing the lessons he learned through his struggles and triumphs. Years later, as Robert stood before a group of aspiring business owners, he felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He recounted his journey, the challenges, the doubts, and the victories. He encouraged them to embrace their failures and learn from them, reminding them that every setback is an opportunity to grow. "Your dreams are worth fighting for," he declared passionately. "Remember, resilience is key. Stay true to your vision and never underestimate the power of community." Robert's story became a source of inspiration for many. His journey from an ordinary clerk to a successful entrepreneur was a testament to the power of perseverance, self-belief, and the importance of lifting others as you climb. As he wrapped up his talk, Robert looked around the room filled with eager faces. He knew that each one of them held the potential to change their own lives and, in turn, their communities. And with that knowledge, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. His journey was far from over. It had only just begun. So, if you ever find yourself doubting your dreams, remember Robert's story. Embrace the challenges, take that first step, and keep moving forward. Your journey is uniquely yours, and it holds the power to inspire others just as it may inspire you. Your dreams are waiting. Go chase them